Never.
Okay. So you have not published your or like completed your arms day. So I don't have that.
How fucking dare you tell me I haven't done my job correctly? How dare you?
I'm sorry I had to do this in public. I know it's quite embarrassing, but we live in a society.
What are you, some kind of shame king?
But we pretty much didn't change anything from last week. I think it was mostly just form pointers, just sort of tidying it up, getting it all in. So how do you want to do this? Do you have anything that you want to go over specifically, or do you just kind of want to go in sequence from Monday through to Saturday?
This is yours. I'm just here for the ride.
Okay. So people who are new to the stream or unaware, we started off with a full body gym split, just training a bit of everything each day, kind of getting the conditioning up, getting back into the swing of things because we had trained previously. And then there was a bit of a gap just because real life commitments and stress and stuff, it didn't really make sense to continue on in this regard. So we kind of took it back to where we started originally with all of the problems that entailed and all of the adjustments that we had to make kind of to show people what that looked like. And then once we were comfortable in the routine, in the swing of things, we got into a muscle split, which is a 6-day commitment in the week, but comparatively, it's a lot less intense across the board. It's more of the mental worry of, if I get sick or injured, is it all going to be fucked up? The answer is yes and no. Yes, you fucked up the muscle split. No, it's not all fucked up. So I think that's really our only big struggle left, is making sure if there is any interruptions, dealing with that. Because as things are going great for you, you have no more real resistances. It's crazy. Over the past week, just interfacing with the muscle split, getting things kind of cleaned up, it really feels like the amount you complain has gone from comically high with the full body down to genuinely it's just, I thought this shit was going to be awful, but I did it. And yeah, it's kind of cool. The only thing I think now is probably hip thrusts. I think that's about all we got with the what the hell am I doing here?
I'm going to say it. That is the gayest exercise on earth.
Yeah. And realistically, you're probably not going to have to do that for too much longer. It's just, I want to make sure that there is some good stability and stuff, because Bernsky here, at Bernsky on everything, basically, but over on TikTok, he's been uploading sort of daily fitness vlogs that track the food and the exercise. And again, very entertaining person. Highly recommend checking him out. We're on day 20. Well, yesterday would have been day 27.
Yeah, day 28 today. Yeah. So it's 4 weeks exactly today.
Yeah. So you've huge backlog there of, maybe a couple minutes of him just being very engaging, very honest, and you see the progress 100%. If you sit there, you start on day one and just start doom scrolling, you will see a trajectory of this dude's success and just the growth of his mentality. So guys, can we ignore the ScoMo, please? So yeah, I highly recommend, if you haven't checked it out already, at Bernsky. He streams every now and then. If you want to see someone just play Moon Knight, I highly recommend the Twitch streams. But yeah, the TikTok, he's sharing his side of this experience, and I love what I see.
Why I think Robbie was mentioning that was because when I was doing the hip thrusts, the voiceover that I did, I was like, "You fucking the hell out of me, bro."
Yeah, I'm new to this. Yeah.
It's seriously, it is one thing to be in the gym, doing the fucking side-lying shoulder external rotations and be like, yeah, this is, a little weird. I'm laying on the ground in front of everyone.
It's like a very specialized thing.
Yeah, to do hip thrusts, it's like, I can feel my cock and balls jiggling around in the gym. I can feel the breeze hitting them.
Yeah.
This is gay.
Yeah. And
my dick is
you like it low key. You love it low key.
I don't love it.
But no,
I don't love it.
I think that hip thrusts are a good kind of. I just want to make sure that we don't have anything that we're missing, especially as you go into bigger compound lifts. So as you get into more squats and heavier squats, we don't necessarily have to worry about that to that degree. And you're not out here trying to get the fattest ass you can, right? You just want to have a balanced physique and you want to get strong. You don't want to have like an accentuated booty cheek like popping out kind of thing. A lot of women love hip thrusts and they love like variations of glute and hamstring exercises because, you know, that's kind of in the gym. A lot of women feel like those are the only muscles that they're allowed to train because they think if they pick up a barbell and do a bicep curl, they're going to look like fucking Lee Priest after like half a session of bicep curls. They're going to walk out with like a 40-inch fucking arm. So
they're not just going to look like Lee Priest. They're going to start acting like him as well.
Exactly. But
yeah. My issue with hip thrusts, it low-key be making me feel a little petite and usable.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like everyone's in the gym looking at me like, see what you're doing over there, your fine ass.
But, you know, I think since the Barbie movie came out...
Where is this going? Where
you know
is that going?
You know what? Never mind. I'll just...
Gonna drop one real quick.
Oh man. Woo! So let's sort of go over things. We'll go day by day at this point, unless you have something very specific that you want to touch on. But yeah, so we start off as always, Monday, International Chest Day. We got 5x5s on the bench press up first, and you got up to 80 kilos.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything that stood out as a particular struggle for chest day.
I think my bench, I tried to focus more on because like the last one, I was finding my left arm was going up quicker than my right.
Yep.
So I was trying to focus on evening that out a bit. Incline chest press.
You real for that, Butchie? Well, let's just say now that you're sort of the weight is going up, you're training bench press more frequently. This is the second time that you've done a proper sort of bench press thing.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to really lock in on form here. Mm-hmm. One of the biggest things on bench press is bar path. A lot of people think it's a straight line. So like from here to there. When in actual fact, most successful athletes in a bench press have a bit more of like an up. This is a very exaggerated thing. You're not literally pushing it like above your head. But let's say you're looking at me from the side, I'm doing bench press. Instead of going like that, it's more like that. So there's a curve towards the top of the motion. So you'll push it straight up because that's where you're strongest, but then you'll kind of carry it out, engaging more muscles than just like your fucking mid chest.
What if I just start arching my back to make the travel distance as low as possible? I feel like that's something for me.
But here's the thing: there's powerlifting form where you have a 40 kilo woman bench pressing 200 fucking kilos because she has the most flexible spine on earth, and then there's the fact that having that thoracic extension, it makes you stronger, makes you more stable. It helps you actually properly recruit all of the muscles in your upper body. So having a little bit and thoracic extension, the thoracic spine is the part of your spine that your ribs are connected to. So you've got neck spine, rib spine, lower back. That's the easiest way to kind of think about it. And you want your rib spine, instead of being like in a relatively neutral position, you want to accentuate it, kind of push your back towards your chest. So even if you don't have a big arch in your lower back, you definitely want to at least slightly open up your chest when you're benching because it locks your shoulders in place. It keeps everything stable and it allows you to actually use the strength that you already have. Whereas if you're flat backed, all of this is very, very mobile. So actually, just like if you were to like a rack pull or a deadlift, when you grab the bar, you don't grab it like this and go. You want to lock everything in and stand up straight. So that is something when you're bench pressing, instead of going like and trying to see how much of like a fucking McDonald's arch you can represent, it's more of a just lock your shoulders in place, because you will be shocked how much stronger you are bench pressing when you're not fucking flopping around all over the place. We're probably like about the same width. When I get on a normal bench press, I feel like I'm going to fucking fall off no matter what I do. They just don't make them for people like us. So
that was why one of my arms is going deeper than my other.
Yeah.
My right arm's going lower because my right arm was more off the
Yeah.
bench than like my left.
So
Like my
having
shoulders.
a consistent setup helps us nullify the other things that are in flux. So we might not always use the same kind of bench. We might not always use the same kind of bar. You know, we can't control if we're on the road and we want to go to a random gym in like bumfuck nowhere. They'll have a bench, they'll have a bar. They just might not be the ones you're used to using. So having mechanical cues that you can rely on, where, you know, for some people it's like they'll sit down, they'll pack everything, and then they'll just whoop, bend down already packed and just press their shoulders into the bench. Everything's locked in. It's not going anywhere. So even if you go to the side, as long as you don't slide off so far that your shoulder blade is no longer pressing into the bench, you're locked in. And unless you have a massive imbalance either in your musculature, be it strength or flexibility or whatever, you're going to be balanced even. You're going to be stronger. And this is one of those things, just like a belt, which might be your next investment, depending on how quickly we're getting strong. It adds 20 kilos to a lift. If you do this, where you get your shoulder blades properly back, pinched into it, and that thoracic extension, right? Your back, touch that with your chest. You will just get stronger immediately because you have the strength. You just can't use it because flat back, loosey-goosey, thoracic extension, you're locked in. You're just ready to press. There's no fucking around. So that's what I want you to kind of try. And I don't know if you want to take a note of this specifically, because there's not going to be anything else that we go over in like massive detail, but that is going to be a big thing for your bench. Bar path and thoracic extension. It's going to add 20 kilos to your bench press.
This next week, I want to look at doing all the like exercises at the same weight as this past week.
Yep.
I don't want to go up. I want to focus on, I guess, locking it more down.
Absolutely.
Because I did feel like there was quite a few times this past week where I was like, yeah, I went heavier, but maybe I wasn't completing a full rep, or I was
Yeah.
my
You
form was
overshot
off.
a lot of things.
Yeah.
But the good thing that fills me with confidence is you brought it back. Not a single exercise did you go too heavy and go, oh, fuck it, good enough. You took it back down to a weight where you weren't compromising on form. You were just limit testing.
Squat was the only thing. Squats, the top of my spine was swollen for like 3 days afterwards.
So
that was not good.
We'll
My
get
bar
to that.
position was dog shit.
We'll get to bar position on the squat. Yeah. Okay. Incline chest press, 25 kgs with an 80 kilo bench, a 25 kilo incline chest press. It's one of two things. Either you're not going heavy enough on the incline, or you're still figuring out the bench press and you're probably fatiguing yourself in doing so. So once we kind of get more comfortable bench pressing, you won't fatigue yourself as much, and the incline chest press number should just go up without much discomfort. So I think it's probably the second one, especially because you have that kind of instability to worry about.
The bench press is for 5, right? And the incline chest press is for 10.
Yep.
I mean, I don't think I'm going to be able to do 40 kilos per arm for 10 on incline chest press when I can only do 80 for 5 on bench press.
Yep.
Like even that, like most of my bench press this week and last week was that 80 kg was my 4th set, and I went down to 70 afterwards.
Yep.
And it was the same with last week. My 70 was my 4th, and I went down to 60 afterwards because it was like this is as heavy as I can go. I can't do another set of this. I have to go a bit
Mhm.
lighter.
Oh yeah. I just think that a lot of the compound lifts, so like the squat, the bench press, we're not deadlifting yet, but we are doing the rack pull. These multiple joint movements. So if you've got a little elbow and shoulder, and then there's some hip, and then there's some this and this and that, we're restricted right now by how new this is. There's nothing to it but to commit and just continue doing it, get more sets under your belt, get more comfortable with the process. So I want to make sure that you understand that everything that you could have done up to this point, you have done. You have done everything within your power, and I hope you see the results. Like I said to you yesterday, that video of you in the gym doing your arm session, your fucking triceps were jumping out. Like, yeah, your arms looked big the week before when you were training arms, but now you've got the size, and we're actually seeing like muscles popping out. And keep in mind, this was over Christmas, right?
Mm.
You still kicked ass. You got in the gym, you worked out, but
Yeah.
you might have had a little bit of extra food here, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, whatever. And somehow you're showing more definition. You're getting stronger. It's
I would say one thing for this week was I was very lack-arsing with
mm,
my calories. I didn't really count. I
mhm.
mean, I didn't. It's not like I was like, yes, I'm gonna use Christmas to go and have those 50 chungus cheeseburgers that I
Yeah,
want to have. Fuck you, Robbie.
yeah. It's
Um,
Christmas Day. I'm going to KFC 3 times. Fuck my family.
but I did. I was like, I had, Christmas lunch, and
Mhm,
then I had a bit of fast food here and there a few days
mhm.
because it was just a fucking, it's a mess of a week.
Yeah.
I was working 2 days, 2 days off, work a day, 2 days off. It's just fucking all over the place. But I still didn't. It didn't make me feel like shit about myself. That was the surprising thing. It wasn't like I went and I was like, shit, I need to eat something. I
Mhm.
don't have anything ready. I have to get something.
Yep.
And I wasn't like, oh, I'm fucking so stupid. Fuck me. Fuck my life. It was like, yeah, that's fine. Whatever. It's all good. So, obviously, I want to lock in
Mhm.
this week on those calories, especially because it's only like one day off for New Year's. So I'm going straight after this. I'm going straight to the shops to prep because there's a
Hell yeah.
Woolworths rewards points boost for a kilo of diced chicken breast.
Mm.
I will be claiming those extra
They
points.
got to be putting something in the chicken, man. I swear to
Why?
God, chicken has been too affordable recently at like every major grocery store.
Yeah, it's surprisingly not that bad. Like I think it's like the diced chicken breast was only like $2 a kilo more than like just chicken breast by itself. So I was
Yeah.
like, man, if it's $2, I'll pay $2 just to not have to cut up chicken breast. I hate cutting chicken breast
Mm.
because if I cut it way too big, and it's like, oh, it's fucking raw in the center. Awesome, I'm stupid as shit. Or it's too small, and it's like, oh, look at that, it's like shriveled up to nothing.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it's yeah, I'll be getting into that. Um, but okay, all right. So, do you want me to look at going heavier on the incline chest press next week rather than staying that same weight?
No. No. I don't think the incline chest press is something that needs to be a conscious effort in increasing it at this stage. Like I said, it was either you're just not lifting heavy enough or it's just a consequence of the bench press. So I think getting more comfortable with
Mm,
bench press is going to automatically make your incline press stronger. If you get really comfortable, you're putting like 100 kilo plus bench with like immaculate form and you're still at 25 kilos on the incline, then we'll have to do something about that.
hmm.
But I don't think it's an issue at this stage. The pec deck, did you get to use the new one? I don't think you did, right?
No, this is when my gym was like, "Oh, we're shutting at 7 p.m. today, by the way. We didn't
Yeah.
fucking tell anyone, so you
Yeah.
all have to leave because we've been too lazy to get the 24/7 access
Hmm.
working."
Yeah.
Which
So
I had
you
to
were
pay an
like
extra
doubling
25
up.
bucks for a new tag just to get in for 24/7.
What?
Yeah, and they were like, it's discounted though. It's usually $50 for just the tag." I was like, "What the fuck?"
I could pay $0 and just break down your fucking door. There's
Yeah, exactly,
nothing you can do. I'm a
exactly.
mountain of muscle.
So Pec deck machine was already in use. This is
Mm-hmm.
a little funny. So it was in use. Someone had a towel on it. So I went and I did the dish hold.
Mm-hmm.
I got the dish hold done. Towel's gone. I was like, fuck yeah. All right. I walk up, go jump on it. And then over walks, like I've got my AirPods in, over walks the Kiora bro. I look
Mm.
up. Sorry, bro. I was in the middle of using that. My friend had to take his towel back, bro. My bad, G. I was like, no, that's all good, man. He's like, I'll let you know as soon as it's done, bro. As soon as I'm done, I've got like 5 more sets to do. I was like, what the fuck? You've been on it for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But so I just said to him, I was like, I'll just use the one next to you. He's like, oh, I don't like that one, bro. I was like, you know what, man? I actually don't like it either. I can't extend my arms out all the way. And he's like, yeah, that'd suck, hey, because you're a pretty big guy, aren't you, bro? You're tall as fuck.
They're tall as fuck out.
I was like, yeah, man, yeah, it sucks ass, but it's all good. I'll get it done. So, because it wasn't even just that he had 5 more sets. He had 5 more sets on that and the fucking cable crossovers.
Yeah.
Like him and his mate were just doing like drop sets. So they'd do pec deck and then they'd swap straight and no rest. Just go in. I was like, fuck. So I'm in the middle of doing it. The guy comes over and he's like, hey guys, we're shutting the gym at 7 today. You got to get your shit and get out. You got 15 minutes. So go to the other cable, get cable. So I'm now doing pec deck and cable crunches at the same time. So I'm like straight into cable crunches,
Mhm.
get up, run to pec deck, get it done. And I can't imagine how goofy it must have looked. Like these
It
guys,
probably
they'd
looked
all
like you
just,
were getting some fucking work in, but I think
yeah.
you and those dudes all doing like supersets infinitely with like 5 minutes until the gym shuts probably looked a bit funny.
No, but it's more like, because he said like, people will just get in the gym and do the most male exercises possible, but
Mm.
then have like fuck all mobility.
Yeah.
Because I've never seen anyone else do cable crunches in the gym before ever, and I know
Yeah.
that's probably insanely surprising. I've not seen it ever done before.
Well, most people just
Um,
use the machine, but like
oh
anytime
yeah, the
you're
one that you
doing a
strap in.
machine, yeah, it's like you're sacrificing your own body's mobility for I don't even know what. I guess people feel more comfortable with a machine because it's like you just go through the set range of motion, whereas the cable crunch is just that but better.
But what I mean is like it must have been so funny because can't imagine these two massive islanders,
Mm,
and I'm using this machine, and they've already made a comment on how big I am, and then it's
mm.
like, oh yeah, he's doing pec deck, and then what the fuck is he doing? I'm just there like.
You're just alphaing up on them. It's like, yeah, you guys might be really good at hugging, but you ever seen someone do this before?
Yeah, you ever see me try to accentuate my ass before?
So yeah, you're feeling good about that. Hopefully, I pray that you can finally use an actual pec deck machine on this Monday.
Well, it was the day after I went and gave it a try
Mhm.
because it was Christmas Eve and it was so dead. It
Yeah,
was awesome. Um,
but you're happy
but
with chest day? Nothing else to
yeah,
go on?
nothing else. But yeah, I gave the pec deck machine a try, the other
Hell yeah.
one, and it was pretty good. I could extend my arms out properly. Um, nowhere near as good as the first one, the
Yeah,
old dingy white one that
yeah.
was all rusted and shit.
They just don't
But
make them like they used to, you know.
clearly, but you know what? Us country girls just make do.
Absolutely.
That is the funniest
Microwave
shit
the
you have
corn.
ever said. That
You,
is the funniest shit you have ever said.
you know the
When you
best thing
said
about
that,
you? You've said that to me
what?
about 50 times at this point. So shout out to me. I'm
Really?
funny as hell. All right.
All I know, when you said that on stream, the last check-in, I was like, I did not expect that. That's the fucking funniest shit I've ever heard.
Thank you. I appreciate that, especially coming from such a connoisseur of the arts, a funny man, if you will. Sure, my bro. Okay, so onto quads and calves. We started off with the squat here, bar position. Once again, the way I pretty much structure this is you've got the big mama jama, the thing that you want to be not fatigued for, something that you can kind of like feed up in weight into a top weight, up first, right? The meat followed by the potatoes. So on squat, it's not the most comfortable thing, but I think it's something that is worth trying out when you're new to this. So bar position, on a squat. High bar, people don't understand the difference between a high bar and a fucking spine squat. High bar is on top of your traps. If you do not have big enough traps, do not do high bar. It's as simple as that. People go high bar because it feels most comfortable, because it's there. It's not going anywhere. But unless you have the trap muscles to do it, it's sitting on your spine. You're squatting like a fucking crypt keeper. You know, like the assistant of an evil scientist. You're like, yes, master. You show up holding, like, carrying the bodies they use for their experiments. Mid bar is a little bit of like an in-between kind of situation. Basically, like, it's at your shoulder, but sort of midway down your traps. So instead of on top of your traps, it's there. Then I do low bar. Most people do low bar once they're strong enough. It's kind of scary for people because it feels like it's just going to slide off. But it's basically down here on your delts, across your back. And when you're doing it, it's very locked in and tight because you have the bar there and then your elbows kind of lock in and you feel that tension. So it's not going anywhere and you're not like holding it with your arms, but it feels a little bit strange. It's kind of like when you lift and you don't use your thumbs. It's like, well, it's going to fucking fall off. It's like, well, just hold it. Right? It might seem a little bit strange at first, but depending on what your goal is, and the goal here basically is not to end up with any fused vertebrae because you fucked your spine up because you're trying to lift 100 plus kilos on your spine. So I would say trying out a low bar squat is what I would recommend for most people. If it feels like it's too low, just go higher. You'll find a more comfortable spot than high bar. Eventually, you know, your traps might get to a point where you've got some like cushion up there that's comfortable. But, you know, for me, I started out on high bar squats because I've always just had like developed traps. It's just like one of those things that I've had these muscles. Even when I was a skinny mini, I had big traps, I had big quads. Everything else was like a stick insect. But for some reason, those muscles were big. So I started out there and I had a good squat. I was a squat specialist. But even then, I didn't have enough fat. So it was just bar on muscle. And that's not comfortable either. So high bar squats, unless you're really fucking dedicated to it, I would say fuck that shit. Fuck it off as quickly as possible. Go for a low bar. It's just, you go slightly out from shoulder when you grab the bar, step under it, lift it up. It's going to like bring your chest open, which is great because the bar is lower. So it's automatically going to put your posture in a better position. And then instead of doing good mornings, which is when you do this, because the bar is there, you're forced to actually squat up and down instead of going like that.
The problem is when I squat up and down like that, I feel like my heels just come off the ground.
Yep. So you can get one of the plates, and you can get two plates, elevated, or you can do one. Just elevate your heels.
Heels, yeah.
Because squat shoes have elevated heels. Even people that don't have mobility issues, which rare. The only reason I don't have mobility issues is because I'm too mobile. So do not feel weird about it. Do not feel ashamed about it. You're not doing an easier exercise. You just don't have the mobility. So imagine you're walking around on your toes all the time. That's essentially what you're doing because of the lack of mobility. So just sliding a bar or anything else that's comfortable so that your heel is elevated. I wouldn't go too high. Start low, and if it doesn't feel like it's helping, just go a little bit thicker. You get those calibrated plates, right? The ones that you use where they're different colors and they just get thicker and thicker. Just start with like the 5 kilo. And then if you have to, work your way up to a 20. If the 20 is still not high enough, put a 5 on top of the 20. You keep going until you find what works. So yeah, for squat, and again, I don't know if you need to take notes for this because you did, I think it was the overhead press that you kind of forgot what we were talking about last week. But so far for the bench, we've got bar path, which is a bit more arcing, and then the open your chest up maneuver. Then for squats, we have low bar squat, and elevate your heels.
Yeah. This sort of stuff I'm going to remember because I'll be doing it like, tomorrow and the day after. It's more the stuff that's like
At
in a
the end of
week's
the
time.
week,
I'm going to be like, "Oh, if only there was a YouTube channel I could go to watch my check-ins.
If only there was some kind of at RobbiePT fitness on YouTube.
You're some kind of personal trainer guy?
So yeah, leg press. I think that was pretty much business as usual. Got up to the 333 kilo.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to go back down to 320 next week.
Yep.
I'm just finding that after leg press this week and everything, my knees have been clicking quite a bit.
Yep.
Not a discomfort, just kind of like it feels weird.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. My missus is constantly talking to me about like you should get some kind of supplements, some kind of like multivitamins and shit. I was like,
I would always talk to a doctor before doing that shit because
Yeah.
it's worth getting a blood test to know, because the only thing worse than not having enough of something in your system is having too much. People don't realize how quickly you can fuck your shit up just by taking a bunch of supplements that you don't need. Like I think I told you about this guy before, but there was a guy in my my course when I was when I was a little baby personal trainer, and his coach, because he was on steroids and he was competing as a bodybuilder, his coach made him take like 15 times the daily recommended amount of vitamin D over the course of like 10 months. And the dude ended up with bone spurs all over his fucking joints. Every time he moves, it's like a serrated knife running over his fucking ligaments. So yeah, make sure if supplements, obviously great. Getting it in your diet, even better. Supplementing shit that you don't need, fucking terrible. So if you're not sure, talk to a doctor. If you are sure, make sure you're really, really sure.
I had a full blood test done probably a year ago this time, and the only thing that I was lacking was vitamin D.
Yeah.
But I reckon that's probably something that's worth going and getting another one done, especially considering how much more different my diet is compared to a year ago.
Totally.
So I'll probably look into getting that done as well.
Anytime you're making big changes in your lifestyle, activity, diet, whatever, it is worth getting on top of it. Getting like, if you have a doctor, a GP that you go to regularly, make sure they're across things. And if you're someone who has decided that you want to take performance enhancing drugs, same shit. If you're scared of getting in trouble, don't take steroids because you're a bitch. Like if you're like, I don't want to talk to a doctor because what if I get in trouble for taking illegal steroids? Suck it up. Would you rather like a doctor say, hey, that's stupid, don't do that, or fucking die? Like those are your two options. You can either get a doctor to support you because it's his job to make sure that even if you're doing stupid shit, that you're aware of risks and mitigating them, or you can just do it on your own and fucking die. Because I've never seen someone do it all on their own and not fuck their health up to the point where they would have died or they do. So, yeah.
Or just take peptides, bro. They solve everything. They heal everything.
Yeah, no, straight up. Just like take the untested super drug that only 16-year-olds and YouTubers who are selling it recommend.
Yeah.
So with that knee thing, the leg extension, I just want to make sure that at least one of the sets, you're really accentuating your toes pointing out. That stuff for most people, myself included, when I get any kind of like knee fuckery going on, making sure that I am, so you got leg extensions, your toes are out straight, feet coming up and down, whatever. If you do like that, right? So not a full 90 degrees, but let's say like 60, 70 something degree turn out, and you do that, you should feel the difference. Because
I'm looking like my heels are tapping together, that sort of shit.
Well, yeah, but like you want to make sure that you have them apart. So
yeah, of course, yeah.
And if you're not
like
really feeling it enough, do single leg. Even if it's only one set, drop the weight down, do single leg extensions, and really accentuate that turnout. And if you injure yourself doing it, it's because you went too heavy. That's not my fucking problem. Okay? If you want to be He-Man with a broken knee, feel free to be a dumbass. But if you want healthy knees, drop the weight and focus on that outward turn, because it's the VMO, the vastus medialis obliquus, colloquially referred to as the teardrop, right? You know that muscle on the quad, on the inner bit next to your knee where it looks like, look at that big fucking juicy muscle. That's what we want to train. It connects directly to your kneecap, your patella, and it keeps everything happy. We don't want to overtrain it, right? But we can't, because we're moving the whole fucking quad anyway. We just want to try and introduce a little bit of bias there. So hopefully that will help with the knees. We've got the cues for the squats. The leg press, if you want to drop that back, that's totally fine. Just make sure you're still hitting that depth that you've been doing. That's really good. Leg extensions, slight turnout, calf jumps. We all know how you feel about this one. Did you feel like it was actually doing anything?
Of course, yeah.
Okay.
I think I said in the video, it's like the more that I did it, the more you can see that I was bouncing less with my knees and just my feet.
Yes.
So that was obviously the first set, and I think I did it for like 10. I didn't realize it was like 8. But yeah, the final 2 that I did was pretty good.
Yeah, and that's what I like to see with you. Some people can't learn. Even if you give them the instruction manual and they watch themselves doing it, they just can't realize, right? When I say to you, it's a calf jump, not a jump. So you don't want to bend the knees and pop. You want to try and just push down with your toes and just. So you did that within a set, where some people just can't, no matter how we try. So that's good. And then the single leg calf raises, it's just, business as usual. It's hard not to feel that when you're doing it. Okay, on to back. I don't know if this one seemed like a pretty, of all the days in terms of, very nice, all the days in terms of the videos that you produced last week, this day was just, you got in, you did the exercise, there wasn't really any fussing around.
Yeah, it's like the 4 exercise days is very simple to me.
Yeah.
It's the ones like I think hamstrings and lower back is only 4 as well.
Mm-hmm.
But that's also like pretty time consuming. I think there's something particular. It's the days like shoulders.
Yeah.
And arms. Arms is like, it's Saturday, that's fine. But that shoulders Thursday, it's like, if I'm working, it's like, got work tomorrow. Why am I in here doing 6 fucking exercises? You cunt.
Yeah. I think shoulders day is something that you'll appreciate more once. I think shoulders is the day that we need to clean up the most. So I think once you have it figured out and you don't need to worry, am I doing this right? What's all this? Once you just know, you rock up, do the exercises, I think it's going to get a lot more comfortable.
Yeah. Back is pretty good. I mean, I don't know why. I just feel like lat pull down is just a snooze fest.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why. It just feels like I'm not doing anything.
Yep.
It feels heavy, but it doesn't feel like I'm working out my back in particular.
Yeah. So the cueing that I gave you for both the lat pull down and the seated cable rows, you haven't actually done it yet. So you haven't done the thing that forces you to. You're skipping ahead. So when I said to you, when you go up, you lift the shoulders and then you come down and then you pull. I literally mean that. I don't mean you do it in one motion. I mean, you go up, you stop, you can hold it there for 3 seconds if you want, and then you pull.
Okay.
You've got a lot better at not throwing your weight around. But this, when you come down and you squeeze everything, then you pull. And it's the same with the seated cable rows. When you come forward, right? Can you see me now? Or because last time I don't know if you saw, but you come forward, you reach out, pull back, then pull. Right? So when you've been doing it, you've been kind of coming forward, but then using that momentum instead of doing it as 2 separate things. Those are the easiest ways, because a lot of people just end up using their trap muscles. And it's not a trap pull down. It's a lat pull down. So by setting our shoulders, by coming up, setting them down, you can sit there forever. As long as the weight isn't up, right? If you pull it down and you're holding the weight, if you do that, you'll probably train your back more than just by like throwing weight around. So you got a lot better at not using your body weight, but now we need to lock in with our shoulder girdle, right? Depress the shoulders, squeeze the shoulder blades. That's pretty much all I think we need to do for back is
I just wrote down the lat pull down. Bent over rows, it just feels good. I don't
Yep.
know. I don't think it was bent over rows. I think it was rack pulls.
Mhm.
That when I did the 10 weeks with you, I was like, I feel like I can do heavier, but my fingers just can't
Yep.
handle holding the weight.
Yeah.
But this feels fine.
Yeah, and
I'm
I think
guessing that,
you've been doing well with your wrist curls as well. So I think we've hit a better kind of trend with how much weight you have to rely on your grip actually holding. So your grip is getting stronger as you're lifting heavier weights rather than your grip being the limitation on the weight that you can lift. Because yeah, your bent over rows are looking good. It's really just for next week, lat pull down, seated cable rows. I want you to, even if it feels a bit arduous, at least for one set, I want every single rep. You come up, you lock it in, then you pull. So
yeah.
you're up there, you go bang, one, then you pull. You give me at least 1 second where you're holding that weight between every single rep. And if you're not feeling it after that, then I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, because lat pull downs is one of those exercises that most people don't get it until one day after months or even years of doing it. They feel the muscle and they go, wait a minute, and they've figured it out, and suddenly you can do lat pull downs and actually feel it. But I think that getting your shoulder actually set and in position, doing it every time, forces your brain to properly engage the muscles.
One day or day one.
So yeah, are you happy with back?
Yeah, I'm fucking with that heavy.
Okay, now shoulders. This is gonna be a doozy. I think I pretty much went over everything in the comments at Burnski on TikTok, but we might as well go back over it here, starting with the overhead press.
You're some kind of TikToker guy.
Because for me, the only comment was bringing it down
To the chest closer.
Yep.
Yes.
50 kilos is great. That is a great weight. A lot of people, if there are people watching this either on YouTube or people lurking in here, you would be hard pressed to find people that can do 5x5 overhead press at 50 kilos and not either injure themselves or do it with dog shit form. You have good pressing power, and it's clear in this.
Getting the depth.
Yeah, and I don't think that this is going to make you feel weaker because you're only doing 5.
Yeah.
It's just, if anything, when you come down, here's a little secret sauce. This is like a strong man kind of shit because they love pressing shit above their heads. When you come down, instead of like flaring your arms out to the side like that, it's really just you just press your arms up out in front of you. And that way you're not out here like fucking your shoulders up trying to get that bar down to your chest. You're down here. Like your hands comfortably come down here anyway. And then you just press up. And that way it comes to your chest rather than your elbows being out to the side and trying to like, oh shit, I can't.
I kind of like holding your hands like this. Like a little cat girl.
Yeah.
And very cute right there.
But here's the thing. If you got 50 kilos on a bar and you're doing that shit, like,
Oh no, yeah, I know.
Did you have anything else or was it just the depth on overhead press?
There was lateral raises, but I think
I mean
there was a comment on that
for
as
overhead
well.
press.
Oh.
Are you good on overhead press?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
deeper on the deeper to the chest and bring the arm.
Yeah.
Why can't I my biceps are getting too big.
Lateral raises, what I'm seeing from you is more like this. Less of that, right? Like a bird flapping.
Okay.
So what you're doing is more like an upright row where you would hold like something in front of you and go like that. I'm not really a fan of upright rows. I think that they can exacerbate any kind of injuries and issues that you have, and they don't really offer anything that other shoulder exercises don't. So, yeah, making sure that you have the arc, because here is what like a straight arm lateral raise looks like. Like literally just laterally raising your arms.
Mm.
But you introduce a little bend to the arms and you can like twist your arms in. You're still flapping. The angle just puts more of an emphasis on the shoulder there.
Okay, because I thought you mentioned something about like driving with my elbow with that.
Yes. So when you bend, that's why instead of just bending and then still trying to flap, because some people do that, but they rotate up when they come out. So you want your elbows to be above your hands. So when you come up, instead of going like this, you want to come up with your arms rotated in like that. So the elbows are above. So yeah, it's just going to be a matter of getting a feel for it. But I like having a mirror in front of me and facing into it so that I can see, am I going like this with my arms in front of me, or am I actually getting into it and my shoulders are like popping out? When you're doing it with weight and you're actually getting it right, you should notice that your shoulders are like jumping out of your shirt because all of the blood and the fluid in the muscle getting that pumpski in. But
you know what shows my shoulders? The warm up that I do.
Yeah.
This one.
Yeah.
I could, when I look at myself in the mirror, I'm like, holy fucking shit, my shoulders have muscle on them now.
Yeah. People do not train their rotator cuff enough. Both for like, you know, the the security that brings, but also you get a little pumpski going. See the reverse
when
flies.
you rotate your eyes in your head like that.
What I said to you was just bring it up a notch or two.
Yeah.
Because you were like maybe one above flat. Bringing it up so that it's like closer to that 45, maybe a little below. And then just popping your chest on the front. And instead of coming out to the side, because you basically did for the reverse flies what I would have wanted to see for the lateral raises. A bit more of that side action. But with the reverse flies, it's more of like a scoop to the back. You know what I mean? So instead of coming out like that, you're scooping behind. And it's not in line with your body. Like it's not directly to your sides. It is a little bit out, but it's basically like a backward scoop. And yeah, don't worry about the weight on that. Because that's the shit. Like you got weak little muscles back here. So does everyone. It means more bang for your buck. Because when you start lifting weight and you stay consistent, these muscles grow so fucking quickly. They make you look terrifying.
How dare you call me weak?
I just want to say that the note here when you said 8 kilos, it's 8 kilos, ... I'm molding. Most people in here would be struggling anywhere near that weight. So again, you are strong. Just from like the little bit of training we've done here, you're probably already well within the upper like 90-something percentile of lifters.
What can I say? 98th percentile of Marvel Rivals. We're on our way to 98th percentile of lifters.
Let's freaking go. And then we finish up back day with the planks and the cable crunches. Did you do the cable crunch on this one? You didn't
check out this guy. He's supposed to be my personal trainer, not reading my messages. I specifically remember messaging you. Fuck, I'm sorry. I forgot to click it. I did the cable crunches. I'm doing them right now.
Right, guys, am I a personal trainer or am I a fucking secretary? What is going on? Is it my job to read messages? No. That's why we got a Sunday check-in because, you know, I'm human. I make mistakes. I'm not perfect. I'm just very close. Okay? So you did great on back. You did great on shoulders. We just have a few things to kind of lock in on. I think with shoulders, if next week we do our check-in and you're like, man, fuck this. We can figure stuff out. We can change it up. But this week, if you just do your best to hit those things that we went for, and the suggestions that I made, then I think you're going to enjoy shoulders a lot more. And then up to hamstrings and lower back.
I think I'd enjoy shoulders a lot more if you were there with me.
Yeah, that's what's up. I'm not going to read your note here on hip thrusts, but hamstrings and lower back, we start off with the rack pull, worked our way up to 90 kilos. I don't think there was anything too preposterous with this.
1 second, my app died. I have to load back in.
That's all good.
Um,
It was similar to what I said last week about rack pulls. You did a lot better this week, but I just want to kind of remind you that when you pick it up, you don't want to like bounce backwards, right? You want to hit the point that all of your muscles are engaged and squeeze rather than boing. You want to go bang, put it back down, bang, put it back down. You don't want to go wee.
you know, I'm gonna share something a little personal here. You know what the issue is?
Mm-hmm.
When I bring that bar up to the rack pull,
Mm-hmm.
it low-key be compressing my penis.
Yeah. It's probably compressing your penis because you're going so far back. Because when you go back, you pull it higher on your hip. So the rack pull really, because you're tall, right? So it is what it is. But when you pull it up, it shouldn't be coming too far up. You're just picking the bar up. You're supposed to bend over, pick it up. And then when you're up, the amount of weight that you're picking up should force your body to brace. You shouldn't have to fly all the way back into that range of motion. So yeah, even if you're coming up, you're picking it up and you're going here. That's good. Like a nice neutral posture is fine. You don't have to fly all the way back with it.
Okay.
So I think that's pretty much all I had here. The hip thrusts. I'll say, do you want to replace those? I know it's like, it's the same vein, but do you want to replace those with another situation of like hip abductors or something?
Just leave it.
Okay.
Just leave it.
Okay.
Just leave it.
Then hamstring curl. This one, make sure, again, it's hamstrings and lower back day. Everything's going to be a little bit homoerotic. It is what it is. When you are bringing the pad up, you want to like heel kick yourself in the ass. You don't want to bring it up like 80%. You want to be like kicking yourself in the ass every time. Like, you're doing so well.
I kick myself in the ass every time. You know what I'm saying?
It's sometimes it's hard, like with the camera angles and the fact that it's in like 2x speed.
Oh, okay. No, I was more just talking about kicking myself in the ass for not doing shit properly. But
now it's time to literally kick ourselves in the ass because that last little bit of range of motion, once we get into things like, deadlifts or anything like that, if you want to go down that route, you want to make sure that you're strong throughout the entire range of motion. If we're cheating ourselves in the range of motion and we get really, really strong, worst case scenario, something happens and we're thrown out of the range of motion, you're going to fucking hurt yourself. Whereas if we put the time in here to kick ourselves in the ass, we're going to minimize the risk of that happening. Hyperextensions. The only issue you've got with hyperextensions is the same as the rack pulls.
I swear to God.
I want to see you keeping your legs straight. Because when you come up, your knees buckle and you do that to get more range of motion than you need. If you have the weight in front of you, coming up to just having your spine aligned with your hips, your legs straight, obviously not like fucking so straight that you hyperextend and go to Snap City, but you don't want to bring your knees forward when you come up just to get that extra range of motion, because instead of the second your shoulders go past your hips, you're not doing a hyperextension anymore. That resistance is no longer loaded where it needs to in the back. So when you come up, you've got the weight in front of you, you come up, you want to get like there and hold it rather than like all that way, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because if you come up And once again, my apologies. It's just hamstring and lower back day. You should be squeezing your ass. You should be engaging your butt muscles. And if you're engaging your butt muscles, you shouldn't be able to get further back than that. There's like a physical limitation on how far you can get back. So with the rack pull and the hyperextensions, our goal for next week is come up and squeeze the fuck out of everything. Don't let go of all of your tension and extend really far back. Yeah? Because you're doing great. The numbers are good. The hyperextensions, I just want to say, it sounds like I've got nothing but criticism for the hamstring and lower back day. You have done so much better across the board on two of the most difficult days that we had, the shoulders and the hamstring / lower back day. I just want to get us to great.
It's nothing but criticism on hamstring and lower back because you're like, I'm not seeing you at enough pride parades, okay? I need to see your support for the community, and then you'll be doing better.
I gotta see you gripping that shit, or you're not an ally. Arms, overhead tricep extensions. You've kind of got your own way of doing it because of the discomfort in the hands. As it gets heavier, just because it's the equivalent of like doing a press with like a suicide grip where you don't have the thumbs engaged and you're just like pushing like that. When you have your hands like this instead of overlapped like that, it's just riskier the heavier you go because it might slide. But you don't have to as long as you don't lift stupid.
It was more like because when I'm holding it like this,
not by the bar itself. So you're holding it like this. I want you to be holding it like that.
Can you bring your hands down lower? Sorry, I can't.
Yeah. So let's say that you're lifting like this, right? With like your hands behind and you're kind of pushing like that.
Yeah.
Instead, it's like that with your thumbs in front of the bar because it keeps it locked in. Because if you do this, the bar can slide forward.
1 second.
Like another 5 minutes or so.
I've been like, hang on, let me pull up my fucking. I've been like this.
Yep.
Right? And my thumbs have been like this.
Yep.
Looking more like this?
Absolutely. But when it's behind your head, your fingers are like pointing back and you can feel how that's like a lot easier than like when you're holding it like that.
Diamond?
Yeah, you don't have to you like I overlap. Like I don't go like this. I get comfortable. Like I'm overlapping. And I just go up and I Does that feel okay?
Yeah, that feels fine.
Because to me, the only difference between what you were doing and that is just the security of it. It shouldn't, the way you're doing it is fine in terms of recruiting your triceps and getting the workout in. It's more so just as you go heavier, we want to mitigate the risk of lifting. But it's hard to complain. We see the triceps, you know, we see the progress there. It's hard to try to like fault you when you're doing well. So
you're trying to fault with a twin right there. Fault with me.
You see what I'm saying, right? Like you've got lines appearing on your arms. Like shit is starting to jump out.
I don't at all, actually. I still see a lot of just one singular lot of fat. Hey, but I see it on my forearms.
Thank you for the honesty. Makes you easier to manipulate. Bitch. All right. So tricep push down. Same thing as last week. You did great because you weren't as like woo swinging with it. But instead of the arms coming out forward, we want to bend down into it, right? So, like I said last week, if you're up straight, it's hard, especially if you've got like, you know, a stomach situation going on. It's hard to keep the arm straight and pushing straight down. You're very limited in the range of motion, right? So if you bend a little bit, suddenly you're out in space, but you're not doing tricep push downs like this. You bend so that you can get the range of motion down here, and then you keep your arms pointing towards the ground. That's the only thing. You're doing great in every other regard. It's just you want to make sure that you're not reaching out for the cable. Yeah? Okay.
I'll fuck with that heavy, twin. That's what I fucks with.
That's what's up. Then we've got preacher curls.
pretty self-explanatory. I mean, I think I mentioned to you before, like
Mhm.
I fucking hate it. I hate the fucking place.
Yeah.
For the dickheads, I was not a fan of preacher curls.
Mm-hmm.
What I've been doing, because I was like, I can't get the fucking bar up. What I've been doing is I'll stand up and pick the bar up
Yep.
and then sit down into it.
Yep.
Because I was previously just trying to pick it up from sitting down, and it's so fucking awkward.
Yeah. And just like
So,
with the negatives, you can kind of self-load where depending on how it goes. When I do preacher curls, I kind of like with my arms bent, pick it up, and then with my arms still bent, I sit back. And I use my body weight to just but like picking the bar up, getting it up to you, and then sitting down is totally fine as well. It's just two different ways to do the same thing.
And then there was incline hammer curls.
Yeah, the cheeky fucking
Would you suggest I do one arm at a time? Because I'm doing it both arms at a time currently.
Both arms at a time is just easier. You get through the workout quicker. You have to deal with less
time I'm
like
holding the weight.
Exactly. So that's more on you. I personally, when I do them, just because I don't do those regularly. So when I do them, I like to like kind of fuck my shit up. So I'll do them one arm at a time. But the fact that you're doing these weekly, I wouldn't worry about it because it's not like it's easy, right? You're not sitting there like, man, this shit's easy as fuck. So I don't think we need to worry about making it harder.
The barbell bicep curls. Now I was gassed. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to admit my honesty here. I only did 4 sets.
I do the same
could
shit.
not. I could not do a 5th. I was so gassed at the end of it. I was like, I physically can't do this.
You want to know what that 5th set would have done for you?
What?
You would have probably just got like an insane pump. It probably would not have helped you like develop. It probably would not have helped you get like much stronger or anything. You would have just had a bit more fluid stuck in there, forcing your arms to look a bit bigger for a bit longer.
And probably in here would have been a bit more sore today because this is very sore.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah. So I do the same shit when I program negatives. Unless I have a partner. When I train with a partner and we do negatives, that shit, like we'll do 17 sets because we're both screaming at each other like, don't be a bitch. And you're like, like, what the fuck? So that's the only exception. When I do it myself, I like to go off of feel as well. The main thing here, once again, don't be a bitch. if you're lifting weights, you're trying to get strong, you're trying to change your body, that's rule number 0. Don't be a bitch. If you can push yourself past that point where you're going to grow, you don't need to keep pushing yourself forever. You find a point where you've gone, I have done this. I don't need to do another set. That's fine.
Yeah.
So I'm not like mad at you because you missed out on a set. If anything, I'm proud that you pushed yourself hard enough that you were able to identify, fuck this shit.
Because that going down and scooping it up was fucked.
Yeah, it
was
forces you to do it.
Especially fucked because because I did hamstrings the day before because I'm using my legs and my lower back to push myself up.
Yeah.
Like to push that, and it was fucked. I was so gassed. Like, if we're talking about homoerotic things in the gym, right? Like we're talking about the movements.
Yep.
But the sounds coming out of my mouth when I was doing this, you would think I was taking it raw. You would think I was featured in the latest Blacked video on Pornhub Gay.
I don't know what any of that means, but I'm sure you do.
I very familiar with the topic.
I'm a Captain America, man.
Dude. I was like, I'd go down and pick it up and I'd be like, and then I'd let it out and I'm like,
To me, I love that shit. Like when I'm in that zone, it's like, holy fuck, something incredible is happening right now. Like I'm gonna fucking get the most disgusting pump.
It's like when I used to do Taekwondo, right? Like they're always like, if you are letting out that sound, you're putting more like
I don't know what they call it
more.
In the ki, I think in Japanese. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a ki up because it's Korean. But yeah, it's just letting out that sound is like literally was like the only way that I was going to be able to do this. Because if I'm trying to scoop under and pick up 50 kilos, and I'm I'm like, it's not gonna work.
Yeah. That's two things. When you're making that noise, first of all, it means you're breathing.
Mm,
If you're lifting weights and you're able to go ah with every rep, that means there's air in your lungs. So hell yeah, you're breathing. A lot of people don't because they're stupid as fuck. But the second thing is when you make that noise, it's because you're engaging your muscles. So when you go, "Argh," you're not going and fucking like collapsing. You're going "Argh," because all of those muscles are tensing, and you probably don't have enough room for the air in your lungs because you've gone. So both of those things indicate you're lifting correctly.
that was like the leg press because no one was at the gym that night,
Mhm.
and I was fucking gassed. I was like after the squats doing that leg press. That's why I was like I could only do 333 for 9.
Yeah.
And I was like doing it, and I was like, but I had my mouth closed, and I was like, I'm gonna need to watch this back because I have a feeling the workers that are still upstairs are probably thinking that I'm dying or something. You can't hear anything because my mouth's shut. Could
Yeah.
not hear anything
It's
over
just
the sound of the gym music. But I felt like I was screaming my ass off.
yeah. It do be what it do be.
Give me what it do be. And then wrist curls. one thing I want to point out: my barbell bicep curls negatives didn't track from last week.
Mm.
I don't know why. It just says last untracked down the bottom. I know I did 40 kg as my highest last week.
Yeah.
No, I did 50, didn't I? Yeah, I did 50 as well.
Yeah, it was just this week you actually
Focus more on
did the
getting it back up
negatives instead of
properly.
like all that stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's fine. As long as we have something to go off of, it's
Oh, that's yeah. I just looked back at the videos to see how I did it.
yeah.
And then yeah, wrist curls. I was like,
You got a
because
little heavier.
the week before I didn't feel anything. That's why I was like, I guess this is just test my fucking mobility or some kind of mobility guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna go a little heavier to see, because I feel like everything I've seen, it should be like, this is moving like perfectly straight.
Mm.
But my fucking wrists don't work like that. So when I'm doing it, I let it out and it curls up. It's like on an angle kind of.
Yeah, the thing here that a lot of people do that it's a bit misleading because it's called a wrist curl. But a lot of people let it go with the fingers.
Mm.
So that's how you get the more like straight out in front kind of thing. But I'd say it's a bit of both. You don't want to go super deep. You'll fuck your shit up. There's no benefit to doing a wrist curl and going "Urgh," and getting a 90-degree angle with weight. But getting a little bit of down while you also let your fingers out and then squeezing your fingers back in, bringing it up, that's how you get a bit more bang for your buck. You can also do these. A really good way to do them instead of on the bench is with a bar behind you and doing like curls like that. Because it just, all of that weight, you're holding the weight instead of sitting there with the bench taking like almost all of the weight on it. So if you want a variation of it just to see, kind of try it out, see what works for you best, I would say next week, arm day, try the standing behind the back. You just pick up, maybe like 15, 20 kilos to start off. Just have it behind the back and just do because if you want a fucking wrist pump, that it feels great. Like you feel all of the muscles and all the blood just like in your forearms.
Yeah, low-key fuck with that.
But yeah,
that's it. That's a week done.
I'm really stoked with that. I'll make sure that I get those plans assigned to you for next week. And hip thrusts, that's the big question mark at this point. If hip thrusts are just like, we're not really feeling the benefit of it, that's the big thing. If next week you do it and you feel like, because we've done it for 3 weeks now, you've seen no benefit, there's no point, we will swap it to something else.
I changed it when I did the last set.
Yep.
So I was doing it on my elbows, and I was feeling a pain in my shoulders. So I did it on my shoulders.
Yep.
Pushing up. So we'll leave it like that, and we'll see how the 5x30 exercise regime goes.
Pretty much everything. If you're laying down on something, unless it is explicitly like a dip or some other thing, you want to have the weight across your shoulders. You want to be shoulder blades pressed into it, locked together, good form. And then for this one, you start, letting your freak flag fly in a public space. What if this like
Fucking the hell out of me, bro.
what if I have no qualifications? I just like making people do shit like that.
I think
you record that and you post it on TikTok.
I wish you didn't have qualifications so you could give me some dumb advice that would make it easier for me to mentally comprehend it.
I feel you. Okay, so we're going to be wrapping it up here. If you have anything else that you would like to put out, feel free.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to all the children of the world.
Gifts to all the good boys and girls.
Yes. Kick that naughty elf off the sleigh.
No comment on that one. All right. Fuck off. I'll see you next year, man.
Jesus Christ, it's been a whole year since I've seen you.
This fucking guy. There he is. Who's this? Who's this good looking rooster? Hey?
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's a hot day for me too, man. I had a shower and I'm like, this shit ain't gonna dry. I don't.
Bro, I got home an hour ago.
Yeah, I fucks with it, twin. Yeah. You know what? I think we both need this to be kind of points on a board. Bang it out. You can go chill. Yeah. I can go do all the bullshit I need to get done.
I need to get some sleep.
Yeah. So okay. I'll lead off with a question. Did you get the Saturday weightlifting session in?
I did not.
Okay.
No. I explained in my update that I was not able to be very active yesterday because I slept a lot.
Yep.
I've been very fatigued this week.
Mm-hmm.
Have not been sleeping a lot. I got my 3 hits in, so I'm happy with that. But I'm hoping I can either do the weightlifting session today or tomorrow.
Yep.
If I don't do it today, I'm 1000% doing it tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very, very excited about it because it looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah. It's difficult because we don't have the gym facilities quite yet. So it's not necessarily something that I would put out into the world and say, hey guys, this is the best thing. Do this. This will get you jacked as fuck. But for you with your circumstances, you don't really have a bench. You don't really have like a lot of the little bits and pieces. You've got some weights and you've got the desire to lift them. So we've given you something to let you do that. And yeah, I'm excited to see how that goes for you as well. So you got all 3 of the hits going. It really is. So the fatigue, do you put that down predominantly to sleep or?
Sleep. And I think it has a little bit to do with my diet. I don't think I was eating very well this week either. Mm-hmm. I think I was hitting my calories, but I haven't been keeping the best track.
Yep.
So, I'm still doing my protein shakes in the morning. Really happy about that. Still doing like the meal prep and stuff. Super happy about that. But I just feel like I need more, which is what you were saying. Like we need to listen to our body.
Yep.
And listening to my body, I think I need to take more food in.
Yep.
But I've been trying to substitute that with drinking a lot more water, and that has helped. Like I didn't realize how energetic water makes you feel when you're actually drinking it consistently.
Well, believe it or not, water is pretty important for human life. It's almost everything your body does is facilitated by water. All of the shit, everything is like soluble or insoluble. So water is there and it goes, all right, you're coming with me. Or it goes, hey, you go on your way, buddy. So yeah, boiling it down to a very simple point, water is great and water intake, fantastic. You just got to make sure that you're getting the other stuff in so that the water that you've been really good at taking in allows you to benefit the most. Because if you had a perfect diet, but you weren't drinking enough water, you would still feel like shit. But if you have a less than perfect diet, but you're still doing your best and your water intake's really good, then you might feel at the end of a long day tired, but you should feel throughout the day as you're drinking water and eating and doing that, you should feel pretty damn good about it. So it's been Christmas. It's a time of stress and woe and, at some point, hopefully some Christmas cheer. But people get sick, people get stressed. It doesn't slow down. You're a hospo person, so it's the opposite of a holiday season. And yeah, so it makes sense that this is a time of a little additional effort and stress, but we just need to make sure we're looking at this week and next week, week after that, week after that. If the trajectory isn't going like this, then there's some stuff that we need to figure out. You can have a week that isn't as great as the others, and you can kind of just, you know, take it on the chest and move on, but we can't ignore a trend.
Yeah. I think the thing is, like, this week was definitely worse than last week, but last week was better than the week before, and that week was better than the week before. So it's kind of like, this is my first kind of downward a little bit, and all I need to do now is just pick myself back up.
Yeah.
You know, like, if I can do this, I can do fucking anything.
Absolutely.
So all I need to do is just focus in, lock in a little bit more, actually try and maintain a better sleep schedule and focus on my diet. The exercise, I never thought that the easiest part of this would be the exercise.
No, he's figured out the secret. He's figured out that once you exercise regularly for like a month, this shit low-key easy as fuck.
It's fucking easy.
Because you just show up and do what your body knows to do. There's no secret. It's just, So like for me, the way I experience it, the more fitness I develop, it's not that it gets easier. It's just I keep going. So I hit that point of like, fuck, this is tough. And then I've got another like, you know, hour of effort in me. Whereas when you first start out, you don't have that fitness. Not only do you physically not have it, but the mental is also, I can't. So unless you start out and you're a literal couch potato, the only thing stopping you is that mental. So you've cracked the mental now.
And it's good because I was a couch potato after this. I did nothing but stay in my bed, and now I fucking exercise.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And isn't it nice?
Feeling fucking good about it.
So many people exercise as well. So the second you start talking about how you're on a little like, you know, exercise journey of your own, people are like, oh, fuck yeah. And it's just like when you work a bunch. For me, one of the only benefits of regular hospo work was the fact that you could talk about it. And so many people would be like, oh, bro, yeah, right. And you could just sit there and it's an easy, instant human connection because you're just like, fuck, working in a bar, man. It's got its benefits, but it's the same thing with exercise. It's like, yeah, dude, I'd be making an effort. Someone's like, are you making effort? I'll make an effort.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. We're friends now.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that is one big thing. Like, a lot of my coworkers have been very supportive and have been checking in on me, asking how all was going. And it's like, fuck, I like told you these things in passing. I didn't realize that this was going to become like what I'm known for.
Yeah.
I love that.
Welcome to the club, man.
Yeah.
Everything I'm doing now.
I'm officially handsome.
Hey, what are you at now? You got 22 months subbed with a founder's badge. You've been handsome for at least 22 months.
That's true. That is true.
So yeah,
we're on a 2-month handsome streak as well. Let's go.
We can't ignore it. As we've talked about, we listen to our body. So Bernski with his bicep negatives, his negatives on the curls, he listened to his body. He did 4 sets instead of 5. Right? If you are struggling with fatigue that is genuine, not psychosomatic, but actually physiological, because you're expending more than you're bringing in, the answer to that riddle is not do more. Right?
Yeah.
A lot of people feel fatigue because their body is in like standby mode 24/7 because they don't exercise. They don't really do any work that stimulates them. They don't learn. They don't do any, like people are just sitting there on standby. And that's why they feel fatigued because their body's not even booting up. But for you, I don't think we can use the excuse of, he's just sitting there fucking around.
Yeah,
right?
you are doing a little bit too much.
You're doing a lot. And with the weightlifting stuff, it shouldn't be too intense. Like that's the kind of thing that as Whippy has talked about in the Discord, he might like walk away from a set and come back like 30 minutes later and just keep going, right? You can do this exercise that I've given you over the course of a Saturday. It doesn't need to be like smashed out in an hour and a half. So, you know, if you do want to commit to doing more because this is a bit more of like an aesthetic pursuit, and there's probably going to be more motivation. So psychologically, you're probably going to feel more energy when it comes to this specific thing. So that's great, but we can't ignore the physiological aspect. If you're working too much, sleeping too little, and not eating enough, we can't just ignore that.
Exactly.
So yeah, there's something for me that I know I'm guilty of, and most people, I'd say anyone around 30 and below at this point is guilty of fighting reality to have some us time. So you get back from a shift, you got another shift the next day, instead of going, okay, I can sleep for 8 hours, get up, take the dog for a walk, take care of myself, blah, blah, blah. You go, okay, I need 4 hours or I'll die. I'll get 4 hours, which means I can sit on my computer for the next 3 hours fucking around. Like, it's the small gain in the short term of exercising your freedom, but sacrificing everything that's actually important to you that you've established. Because it's just, you need to commit to the long-term goal more than you commit to the short-term conveniences and distractions. So I'm not saying that this is something that you're doing and you're fucking up. I'm just saying that everyone does this.
I absolutely am.
Everyone does this to some degree. So for me, you know, I might have a long ass day and it's like, okay, I should brush my teeth, take care of my hygiene and in general, wind down, get ready for bed, maybe spend like 30 minutes reading a book or doing some meditation or whatever. You think that's the first thing on my mind? Hell no. I'm like, dude, I want to log in, maybe do some dailies or like fuck around. You know, it'll only take me like 3 hours to do all the things I want to do in the meaningless computer game area of my life, where the only thing you miss out on by not doing that is nothing in a virtual world. And I like seeing the numbers going up. I play a lot of RuneScape, play a lot of idle games. I like seeing the number go up. And it is shockingly difficult to prioritize the real life number going up because you don't see it. You don't literally see this thing going ding, 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 brr, 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 and it sucks. Because if you could, you wouldn't spend a day of your life on a computer.
Nah. I'd be out here being like, all right, this is 1, this is 2, all right.
So just like we've established with everything, you don't necessarily just go from something to absence or nothing to something. You know, you can't just say, oh, I'm smoking cigarettes, I quit. Woo!
I mean, I do that though.
Yeah, but then you start smoking again. And then you go back and then you go back and then back and forth,
every time I quit. I mean, look, I quit. I don't smoke cigarettes anymore.
Yeah.
And I haven't had I had alcohol once on Christmas Day in the last 2 months.
Yeah.
In the last month since we started.
It's great, but we don't hope that we fail. We just prepare for it. Because instead of assuming that we will never take a step backwards, we just need to accept that's part of the process. And if you never do it again, right? If you kick smoking, you kick drinking alcohol, you do all this shit and you never do it again, cool. But it's like you don't need to do that. That's the point. If you do it perfect cold turkey first try, fuck yeah. I'm kind of that guy, right? But I don't assume that I will be for everything. Because that's how you fall into the trappings of dependence and addiction on something that's like subversive. Because people know that drugs are addictive, right? But then everyone's out here eating fast food like 5 days a week because they can't draw the parallel between the other things that are controlling and destroying their lives. Yeah. So for you like people think, oh, a little bit of video games or just like doom scrolling on YouTube shorts or whatever for an hour or two before bed, whatever. It helps me wind down. No, it doesn't. It helps you dull out the noise in your brain so that you can spend a little time not thinking. But what we want to do here, just as we have sharpened the sword of our body, we too want to peer in and refine our processes so that we're not combating our thoughts, we're utilizing them like any other tool in our arsenal. Because how good would it be to be able to just close your eyes, and imagine all of these incredible things that you're looking at on YouTube or TikTok or whatever. Oh, wait, it's called dreaming. It's called having a dream, Martin Luther King style. So there are people, and again, I'm being very broad here, and you can touch on things more specifically if you want to, but there are people who, because of past traumas or because of just natural born dysfunctions and disorders that they had no control over, they struggle to imagine. They struggle to actually have restful, meaningful sleep. And if they do have dreams, it's not nice, right? So I can't just say, oh, just stop doing all of the stuff that is making you not sleep and just start sleeping. That's not useful. It's more so, let's do the things that are more conducive to success. And if we don't make it, then bare minimum, you get the satisfaction of a pat on the back and saying, I did everything I could. Now it's just up to the process. Because if you're getting in your own way, right, you're tripping yourself, like kicking the feet out from under yourself, then there's no one else to blame. But in a weird way, it is much better, in my opinion, to be a victim of the world, society, someone else, than it is to be a victim of yourself. Because people think that that gives them control, but it really doesn't. Unless you're sitting there meticulously planning your own destruction, then you are just doing it on behalf of other people. Like, why are you making their job easier? If there are people out there trying to like genuinely ruin your life, make you miserable, why are you doing it to yourself, man? Let them do all that. You just eat right, do your best to sleep. It's like, it sucks because it's fucking boring. This is the thing. In the modern world, this is the message that I struggle to convey to people, is that doing the right thing is often really understimulating. It is really boring. And that's why it is so good for you. Genuinely. Because do you think our ancestors were gooning for 2-hour streaks? Like scrolling through like 50 porn videos? No, they like bare minimum, they had to turn a physical page in a booby magazine.
Yeah.
Right? And before that, they actually had to go out and rizz up a woman or make enough money to pay. But nowadays, for $0, you can give yourself brain damage. That's crazy. So that's my point here, is that when you do these things that are potentially disrupting your brain's ability to establish a circadian rhythm and rest, instead of watching 500,000 porn videos on like a million monitors like the NSA, just close your eyes.
Can you not make me sound like a fucking porn addict, please?
No.
I don't do that. I don't know where he's
all right, guys. He doesn't do this. But when you do that, but no, my point being, I think this is something that touches home for most people, because I think genuinely a porn addiction is probably the most common addiction on planet Earth, and people don't even realize it. But instead of sitting there in the goon cave with lotion and all that shit, close your eyes, crank it out old school. That's the point. Human beings have lived for hundreds of thousands of years. We've only just started now destroying ourselves.
Yeah.
So just like anything that you do that is currently around your bedtime ritual, just find the caveman equivalent of it.
Dude, I literally don't have a bedtime ritual. I get into bed, I find a YouTube video, and I go the fuck to sleep.
Yeah. And I think that there's different strokes, pause, for different folks, but you need to dedicate this week, because you've hit the point where exercise is easy. You've got your new thing. Do that today, do that tomorrow, just get it done, because you're going to be doing it again next Saturday. So we don't want to leave too much time so that they're too close together. So today or tomorrow, you just smash out that upper body exercise that we've got. And then from there, what I really want you to lock in on is just the discipline. Because you're basically autopiloting exercise at this point. Right now, we can just like plug in different modes and different things. Once you get access to a gym, it's just, you just show up and do a different thing, but you already have the routine. So it's just, it's doable. But the discipline outside of that, because discipline isn't when you make a hard thing easy. Discipline is when you do a hard thing. It's not about making it as easy as possible. We've just snuck you in the front door so that you can allow that same routine and discipline to spread and affect the other areas of your life. So it's not about making sleep easy at this point. That'd be great. But it's about just going, no, I'm going to, this might seem counterintuitive, but instead of getting in bed and spending, say, 10 hours in bed, you might have a YouTube video, you might do whatever. It could be better. What is it? The Abraham Lincoln quote? If I had 3 hours to cut down a tree, I'd spend 2 hours sharpening my axe. Spend an hour, do a little meditation, do a little breath work, read a book, something that like takes you away from the constant blaring blue light LEDs and all of this shit. Like be human. Be human for an hour, 2 hours before bed. It literally works for everyone. The only issue is that some people can't fight the boredom. And to me, that boredom is a manifestation of the problem. The more bored you are, the more indicative it is of you having an issue. And to me, when I get to that point and I'm like, okay, time to wind down, and my brain is craving acceleration, that's when I know, holy fuck, thank God I realized that I need to be disciplined about this because god damn. Yeah, so that to me is, if you have X amount of time to get in bed, getting immediately into bed without any kind of prep, you're not going to be able to rest. Human beings have never done that outside of like the military, where you're just so fucking constantly fatigued and incapable of sleeping that if you get 20 minutes, you are spending 19 minutes and 59 seconds asleep. But for you, if you have an amount of sleep that you need to get the rest, both mentally and physically, and then you have extra time, that extra time should be dedicated to making that sleep even more effective.
Okay.
And I promise you, Whippy, he's like, right? Whippy and Adri are the human manifestations of sleepy guys. To me, they're just like the sleepiest guys ever. And they still have background noise. They still have a YouTube video on or whatever. So it's not about that. It's about everything else they do to get to sleep. They have their routine and they do it every fucking day without fail. And therefore they get awesome sleep very regularly. So yeah, figure out your routine. I can't give you something. All I will say is 2 hours before bed is perfect. It's ideal. But anything that you can do before you sleep that is like that, breathing exercises, do like a guided mindful meditation. There's an app here that I can recommend to you. It's really great for people who struggle with trauma and PTSD because you don't have to think about it. You just do what the guy on the phone tells you to and you feel relaxed and you go, oh shit. So yeah, I can send you through that info after we're finished here. Yeah. But I promise you, if you start out now and you have 8 hours to sleep, you spend 30 minutes meditating, 7.5 hours, those 7.5 hours will feel better than any fucking sleep you have ever had in your life compared to the 8 hours that you would have had where you would be tossing and turning, incapable of staying asleep, struggling to get back to sleep, all that. Because you got the physical side down. Your body is working. So now we've got the proof that we need to say it's not an issue of your body not being active enough. If anything, now your brain is too active. We got to calm that bad boy down.
For sure.
So yeah, I can send you through that info. Do you have anything else that you wanted to touch on?
No, that's pretty much good.
You're doing great. You're doing fantastic. And I just hope it never feels like for people when I have these conversations, I need to find the problems so that we can figure them out. Yeah. So when it feels like, it's like, okay, yeah, you did great. Here's everything that's fucked up. It's not that. I'm sometimes scrambling. I'm like, well, shit, like what do we improve? He's doing so great. So now
that's the goal. By the end of this, I don't want you to be, there can't be anything that you're like, all right, here's where you fucked up this week.
And you come into the call, we do our little check-in thing, and I go, How you doing? It's like, yeah, good. All right. Well, see ya. That's our check-in.
In and out. In and out.
Yeah. So I'm really happy with how things are going. It really is just we need to take sleep as seriously as we take anything else. It's the same as diet. It's the same as training. For most people, sleep is the most important thing. Rest is the most important thing. Because as you've realized, the exercise gets pretty straightforward after an amount of time. And then with the eating, you kind of you get a feel for it. So even if you're not perfectly tracking, even if you're not hitting anything, you at least know, I need a bit more fiber today. I need a bit more protein today. And you can eat intuitively. That's the goal. We don't want to be tracking fucking numbers for the rest of our lives. We want to be able to go, what does my body need? Boom, make it happen. Get it fresh, get it yummy. Yeah, take care of ourselves. So that is the only area we've got. Eating, it's like we're figuring it out. It's not terrible. Exercise, fantastic. Sleep needs improvement. So yeah, sleep. That's the theme for the upcoming week.
Lovely.
Cool.
Sleep.
Alrighty.
Cool.
Thank you very much for coming.
Ken. Have a great day.
You as well. Bye-bye. Okie dokie, everyone. There we go. Week 4 check-in. That is a month down of this stuff. I'm super stoked for it. Both Bernsky and Speedy, anyone that's been here, you can tell me how big the improvements have been, how many changes have occurred. And that's 4 weeks, guys, right? They have put in a lot of time and effort. We can't downplay that, but it's only been a month. And the amazing thing is it's not January 1st yet. This isn't because of some ridiculous arbitrary social convention. This is because we had 2 people who came to me and wanted to make a change. Hopefully there are more people out there because I want to help more people. I'm opening this up to more people, and I'll get the link for that just to make sure if anyone wants to sign up for it. Here is this. I want to bring more people into this in 2 weeks' time. So after 6 weeks of this, month and a half, I want to open this up. I want to get at least 2 more people. Maybe we could open it up to 3 or 4 people, depending on how many there are. But if you're not sure on what we're doing here, what I ask, I give people free access to me as a personal trainer. I give you programming. I, coach you through things. We make adjustments. You have access to me throughout the week. You message me, we make it work. The only thing I ask for in return is that you're in our Discord giving us updates so that other people can see the process. And I encourage individuals to also post things either on their own social media or, if you make a new account and post to it, like Bernsky has been posting his TikTok videos. They're very entertaining, at Bernsky and at Speedy something for the wonderful gamer there. I am here to help people. And the way you can help me in return is by either engaging in this or by spreading the word, letting people know. So if you are someone that wants to engage in some fitness with the support of a wonderful community, as well as a qualified personal trainer, please fill in that form, apply, you'll probably get in. It's spoilers, it's not the most competitive fucking thing in the world. Not many people are doing it, but yeah. If you post on your socials, you engage in this, you're a bootcamp participant, you show up and do it, that helps me, right? Because if you're posting about it, more people are seeing it, it can potentially expose this to a larger and larger audience. And that gives me more people to help, because that's all I want, man. That's all I care about. I don't care about any of the numbers going up on here. I can't convey enough that I don't give a shit. I want more people to help, because the more people I have, engaging in this stuff, the more people I have in the Discord helping each other, the more I know people are willing to have faith in me. Because people are weird and they, for some reason, only trust you when the number is right. So, the big thing for me, bootcamp participants, spreading the word. That's the razzle dazzle, the magic. So yeah. Week number 4 completed. Yeah, please be kind to yourselves, be kind to each other, and have a wonderful day. Be sure to pop in the Discord. I've been uploading some hit videos over to the fitness YouTube channel. Is the fitness one on my link tree? Yes. Okay. So yeah, follow me places, subscribe, tell people what we're doing. That's the best part. Spread the word, please. Shout out to you, Beth. Shout out to you, Strix. Anyone else in here. Thank you very much, Burnski and Speedy, for coming in, doing that call today. All right. Peace.